How's it going, guys? Kurt Stevens here with Outlaw Bits Gaming. And today, I've decided to talk about some of the juiciest secrets and Easter eggs for one of the most beloved N64 games of all time. Today, we're going to be digging in deep and searching for some hidden secrets and Easter eggs buried within The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Now, if you like what you see here today, be sure to click the links below to like and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell to stay up to date with all of Outlaw Bits videos as soon as they're posted. Without further ado, guys, let's get right into it. The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask is a timeless classic loved and revered by avid video game enthusiasts and casual video gamers alike, receiving an upgraded engine and a full-fledged remaster for the 3DS with enhanced graphics and 3D capabilities. Majora's Mask is a truly unique and beautifully done masterpiece with a small but all too immersive world riddled with Easter eggs and secrets. Today, we're going to be exploring the world of Termina and unraveling some of the developer's most lucrative and cleverly placed Easter eggs. The player doesn't have to travel far to find our first Easter egg. Upon Link being transformed into the Deku Scrub and exiting the Lost Woods, he'll eventually run into the Happy Mask Salesman at the bottom of the clock tower. Not only does this NPC bear a striking resemblance to the series creator Shigeru Miyamoto, but his backpack is also adorned with the masks of a few notable characters. Head for the back of the Happy Mask Salesman and enter first-person mode. The player can't miss Nintendo's mascot and beloved character Mario looking down on them from the salesman's backpack. To the left of Mario is a mask that bears a shocking resemblance to the one and only King, Elvis Presley himself. And above that is a mask that some refer to as the Darth Maul mask, though this has been unconfirmed by Nintendo. Peering over the Happy Mask Salesman's left shoulder from the front side will reveal a mask that distinctively resembles the face plastered on the front of the Mirror Shield. And to the right of Mario is a mask that's rumored to represent Falco from the Star Fox series or King Dedede from Kirby, but both of those have been unconfirmed. Upon acquiring the powder keg from either the Goron village or the bomb shop in town, the player can then enter Romani Ranch, which harbors two delightful sisters preparing for an impending invasion on their ranch. If the player enters first-person mode and stares at the brooches of either Crimea or Romani, they might just notice a popular video game series protagonist hidden in plain sight, as the brooches resemble Bowser from the Mario series. Another little fun fact about Romani Ranch is that in the 3DS rendition of Majora's Mask, players can travel up to the Romani sisters' bedroom, and upon entering the room, they'll find a stuffed replica of Epona sitting up on a mantle and a fluffed up version of Ganon's mighty stallion Gallows from Ocarina of Time. Pretty neat. Speaking of the 3DS version, once the player enters the Goron village, if they seek out the Elder Son's room and enter first person mode to the left of his son, they'll spot a stoned carved Wii remote sitting amongst the toddler's toys. Pretty cool stuff, guys. Bringing it back to the bomb shop on the 3DS version, viewers might have noticed a quite large machine sitting stationary behind the bomb shop's owner. If you look close at the machine, players will soon realize the texture of the machine is none other than the Nintendo GameCube. And you know Nintendo couldn't leave out the Game Boy disc drive on the bottom. Nice touch. Heading over to the observatory, Link will soon discover an assortment of pots ripe for the smashing. Destroying these pots will reveal small scraps of paper, one of which revealing an illustration of a dolphin, a sly reference to Nintendo's up-and-coming next-generation console, the GameCube, which was codenamed the Dolphin throughout its entire production. After entering Clock Town, proceed back to the clock tower where Link meets the Happy Mask Salesman for the first time, and proceed to jump into the aqueduct behind him. If the player swims all the way down to the bottom whilst wearing the Zora's mask and moves towards the large floating pieces of algae, they might notice that the texture carries a distinct resemblance to that of an N64 controller. Not the juiciest of Easter eggs, but interesting nonetheless. Heading back to the Zora's domain, Link needs to have the Zora mask equipped for this Easter egg. Once you've done that, enter the room behind the first door on the right where the player will be greeted by the drummer Tojo. If you listen carefully to the beat Tojo's playing on his drum set, it's the cave music theme from The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Pretty cool stuff. Moving into the next room, we'll come across the Indiegogo's quiet bass player Japas playing the Underworld theme song from the original Legend of Zelda for the NES. And finally, in the last room, we'll stumble upon Evan, the pianist and the leader of the Indiegogos. If you listen closely, you can hear the somber tones of the Game Over screen from the original Legend of Zelda. Heading outside of the city walls and into the northern part of Termina Field, the player can come across a drawing of Skull Kid, illustrated on a wall. Inscribed below him are a series of notes that after being played with the ocarina give Link a fair amount of rupees. If played at the correct time and pattern, the player will hear a familiar melody of the warp song from Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Pretty neat. If the player is using an emulator and has the ability to enable the levitation code, another picture of Skull Kid can be observed from the sky overlooking Termina Field near the observatory. Our next egg takes place at the Clocktown Inn. Enter Ange's grandmother's room and take a peek behind the old girl's chair. There you'll see a rather detailed picture of a tiger. This is a reference to Granny's doppelganger in Ocarina of Time and her pet tiger respectively. If Link turns around and looks at the bookshelf, the player will notice a small cow statuette sitting on the shelf. On the final day, the ground will begin to rumble as the moon plummets closer and closer to Termina. Return to Granny's room at the inn and find these statuettes again. This time, their heads will shake and bobble about as the rumbles of impending doom ring on. Pretty cool, right? On the 3DS version, a photo on the wall can be found that depicts a flying saucer ironically placed directly next to a picture of the Romani sisters. A little foreshadowing? On the 3DS version of Majora's Mask, after the player enters Cafe's hideout, they have the opportunity to stumble upon yet another awesome throwback to a classic Nintendo icon, tucked away in between some old storage crates, nested within the back of the Curiosity Shop. Look to the lower right-hand corner of the screen, and you'll notice a cleverly placed Rob the Robot staring in Link's direction. Nice touch, Nintendo. Also on the 3DS version of Majora's Mask, if Link enters the Marine Research Lab and heads over to the workbench filled with jars, a Nintendo Love Tester can be found amongst the beakers, which was a popular Nintendo toy from the 1960s. The final 3DS Easter egg on our list is in the Town Shooting Gallery. When Link enters the shooting gallery located on the counter next to the shopkeep is a peculiar jar-shaped object. This object is the Nintendo Tumbler Puzzle. Pretty nice nod to the days of old for Nintendo. Traveling now to the deserts of Icona, once Link enters the Icona Castle courtyard, he can follow a path to the top of the map to eventually find a paper airplane sitting stationary on the southwestmost tower in the region. It's speculated that this is a gentle nod to the upcoming Paper Mario game that was due to be released that year, but this hasn't been confirmed by Nintendo, so as of right now, it's merely speculation. Nintendo has somewhat of a reputation for sneaking in cameos and character crossovers of their most iconic characters within their games, stemming all the way back to the NES days, and Majora's Mask is no exception. Enter the mask selection screen and head down to the second row for our very last Easter egg of the video. The entire second row consists of some very familiar faces hidden unsuspectingly right under our noses. All of the masks in the row are meant to resemble members of the Star Fox team. The Keaton mask represents the team leader Fox McCloud. The Bremen mask is meant to illustrate Falco Lombardi. The bunny hood is a spitting image of Peppy Hare. Don Giro's mask is a gentle nod to Slippy the Toad. And the Mask of Sense is a tip of the hat to Pigma Dengar, who was an enemy from the original Star Fox for the Super Nintendo and was once a member of Star Fox Elite Team but went rogue. Well, there you have it, guys. This concludes our hunt for all of the Easter eggs buried within The Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask. Now, if you like what you saw here today, Be sure to click the links below to like and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell to stay up to date with all of Outlaw Bits videos as soon as they're posted. I hope this video was super informative for you guys, and this has been Kurt Stevens with Outlaw Bits Gaming, signing off.